From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your evening update.
Sunny skies once again across the Tennessee Valley on this Friday, with high pressure still in control of the forecast. But notice that the high pressure starting to shift off to the south and east just a little bit. That's going to mean that the low-level winds change direction going into late tonight, and especially Saturday. We'll start to see more of a southwesterly wind setup, and that's going to be milder temperatures as we go forward. 79 today at the Lawrenceburg Airport after a morning low down to 46. We're going to be a couple degrees milder overnight tonight. No rainfall. Don't expect rain for the next 7 days. 82 this afternoon at the Muscle Shoals Airport after a morning low of 51. Hear how the overnight lows break down overnight. Now this evening, we're still going to have these northeasterly winds. However, after midnight, they start switching around to the southwest, and that's going to mean we're not quite as chilly overnight as we have been the past few. So mainly lower 50s across southern middle Tennessee overnight, except for some of our sheltered valleys where the winds are able to go closer to being light. They could still be upper 40s. And then you get back closer to east of I-65, especially Marshall County, Tennessee could be in the upper 40s as well. Mainly lower 50s over northwest Alabama, and you get back closer to northeast Mississippi, where the southerly winds start earlier into the overnight. We're talking about mid-50s there. Everyone up into the low to mid-80s area wide for our Saturday. Mostly sunny through the day. A few more clouds becoming partly cloudy into the afternoon. Those clouds hold on into the evening and overnight. That's going to allow an insulating blanket. That means we're only to the mid-50s Saturday night and Sunday morning. Warm on our Sunday ahead of our cold front here, mid-80s, and then the cold front comes through Sunday night, brings big weather changes here for early next week. Not in terms of rain chances. We don't have any on the board, but temperatures going down as we head into next week, starting Monday with a brisk northerly wind here and partly sunny skies to go through the first half of the week. Here's what happens. We have a big trough of low pressure in the upper atmosphere that digs down into a large part of the eastern half of the country. At the same time, while we have low pressure at the surface in the southeast Canada, we'll have high pressure at the surface over Kansas and Missouri. So that means surface winds out of the Great Lakes and eastern areas of Canada down into the Tennessee Valley in the southeast. So a much cooler air mass is going to be coming southward. We're talking about as early as Monday, well below average, and especially the middle of the week, 10 to 20 degrees below our seasonable average for temperatures. And by Wednesday morning, if we can get the winds to go light enough, some parts of middle Tennessee, maybe into the mid-30s, and seeing a light frost across the area. And I think it's going to be into the upper 30s as far south as North Alabama Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. So a much cooler pattern on the way. But we're getting into mid-October now. We expect these type of cold fronts to come into the area. Low to mid-80s through the weekend for daytime highs. Notice the lows also temporarily coming up into the 50s. And then the big cold front comes through. We struggle to hit 70 on our Monday. Maybe some upper 60s certainly here and there, and then lower 60s as a midpoint average between southern Tennessee and North Alabama Tuesday and Wednesday. So in Tennessee, in a few locations, it could be the upper 50s, upper 30s for overnight lows here Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning, and again Wednesday night and the Thursday morning. There could certainly be some isolated mid-30s in places, and if the winds go light, maybe some patchy frost is certainly possible. We head toward the lower 70s again as we make our way toward the latter part of next week. We're watching the tropics. We have the remnants of Milton moving out into the open Atlantic. We have the remnants of Leslie curving harmlessly into the North Atlantic. And then here off the coast of Africa, we have a wave that has a 50-50 shot of becoming Nadine. That curves harmlessly out into the open Atlantic. So at least for the next 7 days, no imminent threats to the United States. Now, once we get past 7 days, things become more uncertain because models go wishy-washy. Sometimes they'll show something. The next model run they won't. So if you see something 10, 14 days out, use it with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but it just as easily could end up being false. So that's why we don't focus past about 7 days out. We'll certainly watch things because hurricane season does not end until the end of November, but for at least the next 7 days, no tropical threats to the United States, which is certainly good news. It's been an active past few weeks around here. Dropping out of the 70s into the 60s this evening quickly, and then 50s overnight, but I think most of us stop into the lower 50s toward daybreak, but there could be some isolated upper 40s, low to mid 80s here through the weekend. Partly cloudy skies, big cold front coming in to start next week. 70 for Monday, lower 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe some isolated upper 50s in our Tennessee counties. Upper 30s Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Isolated mid 30s possible. The same thing for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And if the winds go light, there could be some isolated patchy frost here and there, starting to moderate back to the lower 70s to end next week. There's the latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 9 o'clock for a final check of your local weather.